Hello, Santa Barbara. It is my privilege to present the 2021 State of the City Address and to be together with all of you, even in this virtual setting. I look forward to next year when we will come together in person in a new format for this event where residents can meet and engage with City Department staff and council members, as well as hear the annual review and updates from me and the City Administrator. All of us in Santa Barbara and throughout the state, country, and the world have experienced hardship and challenges this past year during the pandemic. Although some of us have suffered more than others, we need to recognize this struggle and how it has impacted and left an imprint on our community, from small business owners who struggle to stay afloat, to frontline workers who at great risk to their lives kept services running, to those who lost jobs or businesses, to renters who simply couldn't pay the rent or had to deplete savings to do so, to homeowners and property owners risking foreclosure, to many without homes and in need of basic necessities like food and shelter, and most tragically, to those who have lost loved ones or suffered directly from contracting COVID-19. This past year has been a test of our strength and resolve. This community has faced crises and disaster before, but we are a resilient community who have overcome hardships. This pandemic has shown our interconnectedness as a community and the important contribution of all of its members. We now need to carry these lessons with us as we prepare for recovery. While things may never be the same, we are here in the summer of 2021 as the state is cautiously reopening amid a resurgence of COVID. Overall, we are at the beginning of better times, and we know we will achieve full reopening, working together for the city's recovery and to create a more equitable, a more responsive, and a more sustainable Santa Barbara. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Paul Casey for his almost 24 years of public service, his dedication and hard work for the city, and almost 7 years as city administrator. He has prepared the city well to address critical infrastructure needs with the implementation of Measure C and responding to multiple droughts with restarting the city's desalination plant, as well as the city's rapid responses to the massive fires, devastating debris flow, and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. We know that the COVID pandemic brought with it extreme and unforeseen challenges, particularly for small businesses and workers in Santa Barbara, and that it exacerbated existing problems with our housing and homelessness crisis that we are still responding to. Even as we emerge from this protracted period of uncertainty, there are signs of hope and many reasons to be hopeful. Santa Barbara is still, thankfully, a unique destination where people want to visit, so we must be prepared to reopen and welcome tourism back. I am excited to see hotel occupancy is increasing and businesses reopening. In addition, the state of California and the federal government are providing more assistance for businesses that our restaurants, retailers, and other small businesses can take advantage of. Housing is a basic human right, and our unhoused residents continue to struggle as even more people become housing insecure. The City Council is prioritizing response to homeless encampments in fire-prone areas to address both the public safety risk and the homeless crises in new ways, including a temporary pilot project to provide bridge housing and supportive services to people experiencing homelessness and living in fire-prone encampments. This effort requires many functions of local government to collaborate and work with our nonprofit partners and human service agencies to provide support and assistance. It is a $1.6 million effort funded with local Measure C funds and California Permanent Local Housing Allocation funding. The city's nonprofit contractor, CityNet, oversees street outreach, provides case management, and manages the pilot temporary safe shelter. CityNet has been providing these services since 2019. So far, 40 individuals have been relocated to the safe shelter as part of the pilot, and several high-priority camps have been cleared to reduce fire risk in our city. The city is not only addressing this critical public safety issue, but has been expanding and investing in new services and partnerships to help the unsheltered find permanent housing and services. During the pandemic, the city, as an essential service, continued to serve the residents and maintain critical operations. I want to thank our first responders and police and fire for their hard work in protecting life and property through these challenging times. I also want to recognize the professionalism and dedication of city staff throughout our organization in providing the services that our residents require and doing so in new and unique ways. One critical transition that I would like to highlight was the staff in various work groups, City Clerk and City TV most notably, that were able to transition and continue our council meetings and all other public meetings in a virtual setting. This ensured public access and input, as well as transparency of city business and decision-making. That was a complicated task and so critical to retaining public confidence and trust. The Community Development Department was able to take in building plans electronically and maintain the plan review and permitting process virtually to ensure projects were able to move forward. Other notable highlights from the past year that the city was able to accomplish include attraction of Southwest Airlines to the Santa Barbara Airport and additional air service destinations with our airline partners, most recently direct service to San Diego and Chicago. I would like to recognize the dedicated work of city airport staff and investment and hard work from Visit Santa Barbara and the Chamber of Commerce in their assistance in attracting Southwest Airlines to Santa Barbara. The City Council has established a Community Formation Commission to guide the creation of a civilian police review system. 15 community members were appointed, and the commission has already completed its ethic training, contracted with the National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement, or NACOL, created working groups among the commission, and is preparing community outreach that engages the public regarding what oversight model will be best for the city of Santa Barbara. I want to thank those community volunteers and all the city volunteers that participate in almost 40 boards and commissions supporting city operations and serving the residents of our great community. Despite the challenges of the pandemic, the Santa Barbara Library was an important resource and provided a welcome respite for the community during this difficult time. The library hosted a number of art and reading programs serving a diverse range of customers. The library also adapted to the challenges of supporting job seekers during the pandemic by providing training, technology, and other resources. There are so many programs and services that the library has that are too numerous to name. I would also like to thank the many donors that have supported the fundraising effort of the Library Plaza project. We look forward to fulfilling the fundraising goal and commencing construction on the project next year. Similarly, our Parks and Recreation Department was able to remain nimble and develop programming in compliance with the changing array of state and local guidelines throughout the pandemic. In 2020, this included offering 15 different outdoor camps serving almost 2,700 youth. This summer, in 2021, we are hosting 25 camps with 285 sessions serving over 5,000 youth in a full suite of programming. The department also advanced construction of critical park renovation projects for Bonet Park, Mackenzie Park, and the Louise Lowry Davis Center. Looking ahead, the department is beginning the process of renovating the band shell at Plaza Del Mar and upgrades to Eastside Neighborhood Park and advancing revitalization of Ortega Park and Dwight Murphy Fields. Through engagement of a diverse group of community stakeholders, we now have a vibrant murals plan for Ortega Park and hope to secure state park grant funds for the project. Our partnership with the Gwendolyn Strong Foundation is also leading to exciting changes for Dwight Murphy Field, including sports, field, and fitness upgrades, and Santa Barbara's first All Abilities program. Like many other cities and other government agencies, Santa Barbara will be undertaking a redistricting process based on the data from the 2020 census. In 2018, the city's voters approved a charter amendment requiring an independent redistricting committee that it would oversee a redistricting process. This redistricting committee comprises 3 retired judges appointed by the City Council in March 2021. Over the next several months, there will be a number of civic engagement opportunities, including public hearings by the committee, all leading up to adoption of a final redistricting map for presentation to the City Council. The redistricting process is governed by the voter-approved city charter, as well as recently adopted state laws that require an open, transparent, and public process. For internal operations, I would like to recognize the important work that our finance department has done in not only managing the difficult financial conditions that the city budget has had to overcome 2 years in a row, but also was able to upgrade the city's utility billing system to allow for better real-time information for our customers. For the first time in the city's history, the council adopted an economic development plan to provide a strategic roadmap to strengthen the city's economy, assist businesses, and encourage investment in the community. First and foremost, the downtown State Street master planning process has been with the selection of the advisory committee members who will help develop the future for the city's downtown civic and commercial center. The city knows the importance of providing high-quality services, investing in the community spaces and infrastructure that our residents and visitors enjoy, as well as thoughtful planning for our future. The city is also making significant progress on 2 other key projects. The city's new police station project design has continued to develop and improve. In March, the Planning Commission unanimously approved the height exception request for the project and directed staff to return to ABR for additional review. The project went before the ABR for the 4th concept review and received affirmative comments and direction, paving the way for the design submittal in June. The goal is to have the project through the CEQA process by late fall. The project is still on track for a construction start date of late 2022 or early 2023, with a completion date in 2025. In addition, the De La Guerra Plaza revitalization project concept plan for the historic plaza continues to be refined as the Historic Landmarks Commission has reviewed the design twice, and an updated parking and traffic study is being conducted, and additional community outreach is underway. As part of the project, the front of City Hall on the Anacapa side will receive a water-wise model landscape design that will connect to the front of City Hall and highlight the architecture of this beautiful civic building. This plaza revitalization effort is an exciting and important project for the heart of our city, and as such, requires a thorough process to get it right. Providing workforce and affordable housing continues to be a major priority for City Council. Last year, zoning standards were changed downtown to provide for additional housing, including making parking optional in some cases. The city is currently working with an economic consultant to look at additional adjustments to zoning rules to provide for the kinds of housing needed in the community while being sensitive to surrounding neighborhoods. We expect City Council to consider zoning changes by early 2022. In October of this year, the city will launch its landmark Community Choice Energy program called Santa Barbara Clean Energy. This program will procure 100% carbon-free clean electricity on behalf of Santa Barbara residents and businesses, and as a result, dramatically decrease Santa Barbara's greenhouse gas emissions. In this unique partnership, Southern California Edison will continue to deliver the power that Santa Barbara Clean Energy procures to Santa Barbara customers. This effort is critical to achieving Council's carbon neutrality goal and enables our community to fight climate change together. Residential customers will transition first, with business customers transitioning in March of 2022. Other than a slight change to wording on their bill, customers will see very little noticeable change to their electrical service. As California experiences historically dry conditions statewide, the city is well prepared for worsening drought conditions. Council recently adopted an updated long-term water supply plan, which provides a vision and adaptive management strategy for the city's water resources for the next 30 years. City water staff are now working the plan, and the city has enough water supplies available to meet demands even if the next 3 years remain abnormally dry. A combination of prudent planning and community support for investing in water infrastructure has left the city in a strong water supply position despite dry conditions. The city has one of the most diverse water supply portfolios in the state, allowing the city to pull from its varied water resources as they are available even when others dry up. For example, the city has been operating the Charles E. Meyer desalination facility since 2017, which has allowed it to store up a significant reserve of city water in Lake Cachuma. On top of sound water management and community support, city residents continue to be good stewards of the city's water resources. City water customers are using 25% less water than they did before the last drought, indicating that conservation truly is a way of life in Santa Barbara. This last year, our city took an important step forward in addressing climate hazards by adopting a sea level rise adaptation plan. Our city is already at risk to erosion and flooding events during storms. These events will increase in frequency and severity in upcoming years due to rising sea levels. The adaptation plan outlines a number of measures for the city to take in the next 10 years to prepare for sea level rise. These include moving impacted utility lines located under the beach, raising the harbor breakwater, and establishing a regional program to monitor changing shoreline conditions. We have included the most critical of these projects in our recently adopted capital improvement program. Moving forward, sea level rise adaptation and the implementation of the resilience measures identified in the plan will be coordinated out of our new Sustainability and Resilience Department. As we were inspired by poet Amanda Gorman, these words from her today. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We have much to be grateful for in the city of Santa Barbara, a natural environment of incredible natural beauty, exceptional public and private schools, and a number of higher education institutions. We are fortunate to have an essentially fully renovated, outstanding cottage hospital, and we are so thankful to have their service in the community during this time of need. We have the best parks and open spaces, beaches, streets, library and recreation programs for youth and adults, and sustainability programs of any city in the county, and an immensely committed and talented city workforce. We have a strong commitment to building and maintaining an economically diverse community. We have an informed, active, engaged, and diverse group of residents and community organizations. And I want to thank the many volunteers in our city who have toiled for their community in these challenging times. Just as we overcome the pandemic together, we can only walk the road to recovery together. The government has the ability to point us in the direction we need to go, but for meaningful outcomes, we have to turn toward the common effort of advancing the common good. This is how we can redefine public safety, advance racial justice, and imagine the public spaces of the future. I enthusiastically join you in the common effort of recovery. We can do it one step at a time, with respect and our hearts full of love for the place we all call home. Thank you, and now Paul Casey, our City Administrator.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to the public for joining us today. I'm Paul Casey, City Administrator, and each year we come together for this State of the City event to talk about where we have been as a community and where we are going. Today we are taping from the renovated Cabrillo Arts Pavilion. It's unfortunate that we're not here in person, but the city has spent a good amount of time and resources reinvesting in this crown jewel of a waterfront property. I hope as the pandemic improves and we're able to have more public functions indoors that you will come down and enjoy this beautiful, majestic building right on the waterfront here of Santa Barbara. This past year was extremely difficult for all of us as the COVID-19 pandemic upended our lives. The city, like many organizations, institutions, and companies, needed to close facilities, cancel events, address complicated employee issues, and provide guidance to the public about the health emergency. The pandemic forced the shuttering of travel and much of economic life that left large holes in the city budget that has benefited historically from tourism, sales tax, and parking-based revenues, and relied less on property taxes due to California's tax structure for local government. Since COVID began, the city has lost approximately $35 million of revenue. In the general fund, over $9 million was lost from bed tax, another $9 million from reduced sales taxes, and $5 million from departmental revenues such as park and recreation fees. Enterprise funds like downtown parking and the waterfront also saw a reduction of revenues, combined for almost $11 million. On the bright side, one of the city's larger general fund revenues, property taxes, remains strong and continues to steadily grow through the pandemic, and it's projected to remain strong in the years to come. Because of these substantially reduced revenues, the city took decisive actions to reduce the city's operating expenses that saved the city's general fund millions of dollars. In fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2022, the city's general fund budget identified more than $6 million of expenditure reductions in each year in order to balance the budget, including delaying projects and holding positions vacant. The council supported the adoption and extension of the Emergency Economic Recovery Ordinance to provide businesses the ability to operate outdoors in the public right-of-way. This extension runs through March of 2022, which I believe is the longest extension in the region. And the council also adopted eviction moratoriums to keep renters and businesses in their premises, and the city financially supported nonprofit service agencies providing for those in need. Today, I am pleased to say that our budget reduction plan and strategic use of reserves has produced a balanced budget. And while our fiscal health was strained, it is intact and we retain our AAA bond rating. For a coastal community, tourist-related, this is no small feat. With regards to our reserves, because of the City Council's commitment to long-term fiscal sustainability and replenishing reserves following the recession of 2008 to 2010, we are fortunate to have had nearly full budget reserves leading into the pandemic, and this helped cover our revenue shortfalls. Over the past year and a half, the city used all of our general fund contingency reserves and began using some of our disaster reserves in order to continue operating essential services and deliver critical services to the public. The public rightly expected to continue to have services such as police and fire, as well as water and wastewater utilities during the pandemic. In addition, the city also provided innovative library services when we were restricted at home, kept our parks and beaches clean and open when they were required for safe outside refuge, and transitioned many services to online. Early in 2021, President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan Act into law, and the city is slated to receive $21.8 million over the next year as direct federal relief to address the city's revenue losses already incurred. The city received the first installment of $10.9 million in May of this year, with the remaining amount anticipated the following year. The City Council committed the first portion of those funds to the general fund reserves to partially offset the lost revenues I spoke about and to ensure our fiscal security going forward. The city is projected to still be below reserve policy targets even with the federal relief, and we'll work hard over the coming years to replenish those reserves. The next installment of federal relief will come next year, and Council will have the policy discussion about how to expend those funds at that time. During the pandemic, our city team worked through significant hardships like so many organizations in our community as we dealt with potential COVID exposure, reduced staffing, lack of childcare, and personal sickness. It was a hard year. Nevertheless, the city is blessed by a team with personal and professional resilience and pride in public service. I want to thank the city's first responders and staff for keeping the city's essential services operating and providing services in new ways so residents could participate in public meetings, submit for building plans, and conduct business with the city. Your city government strives each day to live up to the highest standards of community health, safety, and well-being. However, even as we have responded to the pandemic and stabilized our community and economy, we've also looked ahead to our recovery and a bright future. We've created new opportunities to enjoy Santa Barbara's outdoor spaces by redesigning downtown State Street, creating the new bike share program, preparing plans for the renovation of a new library plaza in De La Guerra Plaza, and expanding outdoor dining throughout the city. We're also addressing the most pressing issues, such as housing, homelessness, economic recovery, environmental and sustainability policies, and wildland fire protections, just to name a few. It is a full plate of exciting and complex initiatives. On a personal note, this will be my last State of the City as I'm stepping down as City Administrator effective September 10th. It has been an honor and a privilege to work for the City of Santa Barbara for the past 24 years, and I appreciate the trust this council and prior councils have allowed me to serve in a number of capacities over that time, and as City Administrator for the past 7 years. Together, we have accomplished a lot that we can be proud of. And together we can face the challenges going forward and take advantage of opportunities to make Santa Barbara even better. We tease that Santa Barbara is special and a crown jewel, but the truth of the matter is it's true. We are fortunate and should reflect on how lucky we are to live, work, study, and play in such a wonderful place. And we should commit to continue to come together in civil dialogue to debate the important policy issues I've outlined above in a collaborative and meaningful way. Past practice of that has made Santa Barbara the special place that it is, and continuing that community compact for discussion will allow us to continue to improve for the future. Thank you, and thank you for attending today's State of the City event.